And the reason I'm doing this in front of the lake with the blues, light blues, not greys, or who knows where's. I have light blues that also can be greys. This was what you didn't understand. The whole secret of Intel was that if you smash somebody's head on the coastline, then you bring back pig, it's one thing. But if you have blues, many batches, then what it means is you're dealing with airspace, July 20th, 221. Now, that you sent the lowest of the low. You know, I have little against the homeless, but when the homeless are psychos from Fresno, who are Jewish or white or chulas, your chulas are not going to reopen anything on the coastlines. Dirk Van Dam and The Hague have emptied the coastlines after The Hague. And there's enough proof and paperwork for one person. And I told you that even if I am a piece of paper, I'm still a human, as Disney, and I still have blues. So you don't have that kind of science. And the blues are not the original, because if you smash somebody's head on the coastlines, you technically lost that intel. This is your arrogance. So while you were sitting and doing the spectators of the show, the heads of sciences in Warsaw, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, my direct uncles, had seen, together with the UN and Western European airspace, vultures, Martin Snowden and Colin Hills was married to the geneticist from Oxford, Thompson. That's all news on the news. So what you showed is that what you lost, gone with the wind in yours, is hate. If it's hate, it's not the same person. Not pink, not blues. But it does mean that there was a ship with that girl. That's why they called it Nigeria. That's why they called it Robin Hood. They said that kind of intel was hate. That kind of intel had a ship. It's called I told you this a million times, the Manhattan Project of the 21st century. Colloquially speaking, if they make a pin-up girl after The Hague, you are not the ones who did it. You just sat on your fat ass, saw it coming from China, and laughed when that girl was hacked. You brought back Disneyland. And what you said? Especially on her little crawlies when she was alone. So what they're saying, Scotland and Radio Globo, because the radio was invented 250 years ago. I'm back to the place I was born and raised in. I'm 52, and it's 12 years that I'm out of Fresno. I'm still alive, thankfully, thanks to your Schadenfreude Junior retards, your kindness, your heightened scientists. So the PhDs and Nobel Prizes are going to reopen the coastlines with that ship to the Manhattan Project of the 21st. You were the pirates on the coastlines. You lost, and you couldn't admit it. That's why they called you Iran on the coastlines. We were developing on the flyings on the coastlines, the ship, and the runnings on the coastlines, the ship, until you smashed my head on the coastlines. Sciences. When you hated the science, and the scientists left with her, died with her, fell with her, and did the Manhattan Project of the 21st, you cannot have pretenses. Especially if you can see it coming from China on your own soil. That's still not mentioning the Barentsborn and pioneer camps beyond the capital cities. Out of my dictionary by now, most dictionaries, you can say it by now in pink, or culo de Boris, and I'm not the blues either, I'm pink. I'm not the other eggs, produced in pods. Autopods. As the German said, a byproduct of stupid times. After the smashed and head on the coastlines. Old news on the news, gone with the wind. Those guys fell with me long ago, the mermaid. What happened on the coastlines is gone with the wind. Don't ask for miracles after The Hague. on your coastlines. Ask yourself why the spectators of the show are there, and instead of protecting Disneyland, because somebody knows somebody in Fresno and it's delayed response, you said you're psychos. Ask yourself why the nurses in Fresno, who were prison guards for Tom and Jerry Diary Towels, like Jennifer Segura and Sonia Rocha, you put them to federal prison. Mom didn't have dementia. Dad had an injection in the lower part of the stomach. He didn't have anemia. And they are D1s, directorates of humanitarian relief services all over Africa, Asia, and South America. They were only in Iraq a few times. Your Schadenfreude Jr. just showed to the rest of the world through Disney the train pool in the house, the Tasmanian devil. One ugly Dutch bitches, assholes, dimension holes you are. The intelligence communities look at what they lost on the coastlines with the Manhattan Project of the 21st century. They rehashed Disney, and I have never seen such a bunch of bitches in my life. Because none of you, even with your PhDs, will reopen the Grays and Blacks. Oh, I didn't do pink cancers, but they had it. That's not even mentioning the parents of Fresno retirements. Are you playing power games? What did you get on the coastlines from the Polish and the Russians, Egyptians and the Saudis, of the uncles and heads of sciences in Western Europe and the corporations? -0. You do not Hague such intel. If she's the mermaid, if you know that that girl was the mermaid, you know the entire ship left. Whether they fell with her or they died with her, they left. And they had that intel on the flyings of that girl. Many times on the mountains, on the coastlines. They had a horn. And they had it even on the runnings on the hills that many motherfucking times, didn't they? So what's your problem? You don't like Disney? Really? And why don't you go fix the coastlines? Or wait till the coastlines? I thought your PhD was so, your limousines were so up your ass. Disney number Delph. Di nome e di fatto. And don't think she was alone. That's why they call it the pin-up girl. When science sees such a level of violence of a smashed in head on the coastlines, hate, it doesn't come back. In any shape or form. Even if there's blues somewhere else. Because you know it's not the same person. That, you know, there's miracles and miracles. Even with the blues. I told you there was science behind that girl. I told you she was into science. The blues will not show themselves to you. Not after what you did to the original or to me. We expected you to be redundant. That's why there's so many Dr. Barrett Schadenfreude Jr. Even in Berlin. Speaking about Schadenfreude Jr. You can keep your cheerleaders and your great police force of flatfoots in the US. Because the flatfoots in Europe, between the Italians, the Germans, the Polish, and the Brits, don't go near me. In fact, they behave like Tierhaufen. They see me and they go, itsy bitsy teeny weeny, they're so retarded. Lamborghinis on your coastlines. They don't touch me. And if they see that I'm in danger, they help me. So what do you do? Oh, your friend with Tom and Jerry Diary Towels? Is that what you're at? Maybe you don't like Disneyland being more intelligent than you. After smashed in head on the coastlines. Is that what upsets you of intelligence? Delph. Smashing the girl's head on the coastlines with the Manhattan Project of the 21st century upsets you, flatfoot, in California. You're not woman. You're ugly. I went to genetic schools when I was 5 years old. I saw genetic freaks. I knew I wasn't myself. They told me I didn't belong in that school. Because there were actual losses after the Hague on the coastlines. Big ones. They said the others were with me, that shit. The mermaid is old news on the news. You know, if you see it coming careening from China, it's already dead. It's already hid, it's already void, it's already empty, and they have a lot of paperwork for a cat. Disneyland, carrying paperwork just for herself. And you don't even call her a human being, but you are human beings. I can't even breathe a split second of fresh air with that much perfume before you get offended. What kind of country are you, spectators of the show? On your own soil. And that's not mentioning the father and the mother in Fresno retired. You have pretenses. Well, you just retarded. I don't care how many PhDs you have. If you can't fix that show, no go lines, and I ain't seeing him saying even whittle. If you can't fix that show, no go lines, what the fuck are you doing? Why I came back in this format? So that you could call me the terrorist? You are terrorists, and your cheerleaders are terrorists. And your police force who knows somebody in Fresno is terrorist. You're not gaining. You should be going after the criminals. You should be going after the psychos that are following me. What are you doing? Sitting there and watching? While some rich snots out there, oh, you're friends with the Mossad on the coastlines? You happy that shit's empty? With the greys and blacks? Want to stick in the pinks with the cancer? We already emptied that. This is what you are. You think the girl was alone on the coastlines? Long ago, when it was working on the mountains and hills? What did you do at the end? You smashed her head on the coastlines. You brought me back, and you patted yourself, and you called yourself Mother Teresa of Calcutta. Let me put it this way. I don't care if it was the Chinese on US soil. Do you understand that? Or the Mossad, or the Jews, or the whites, or the Chulas, or the Mexicans. What you lost on the coastlines is your fucking problem. And the amount of Dirk and Van Damme hate is why I came back. To let you know we can really shake it down. They made genetics. It's not the same girl. Even if it's a genius. And you wouldn't understand that. Because you don't have such uncles. Direct uncles as heads of sciences. You don't have such corporations that were in the UN, in Western Europe, and in England. There are others, like me, who were with me on that ship. You think they're going to come back for you? So you can show your limousine and your PhD? That's the difference between a piece of paper and intelligence. That's the difference between intelligence that changes the world for the better, like the parents with their jobs, or for the worse, if you hate it. That's called the Morgana Schiste, for real. Unreal, and what we call the uncomfortable truths. Start using your brains.